Hello Power Rangers Lightning Collection fans, and welcome back to Lightning Storm, the series where lightning always strikes twice as we talk about everything that has happened in the past week for the Power Rangers Lightning Collection. Pretty good amount of stuff actually this week happened, and the further the week kept going, the more just kind of interesting things started popping up here. So let's not waste any more time and go ahead and get right on into it. So first up for this week, Hasbro Pulse is having some sales again, which is kind of interesting. So they did this back in March, I think it was. They had these like Power Days sales, as they called them, where it was a whole thing to where there was a number of different products that were eligible for it. If you spent at least $75 or more and you're a Pulse Premium member, you got a certain percentage off. And if you were just a regular person, you got a certain percentage off that was a little bit different than that. It lasted for like 2 weeks or so, and then, it was gone. I used it to get a couple things that I needed for both the G.I. Joe and for Power Rangers. And they're doing one again. And I only can imagine that they're doing it so soon after, because there's just so much stuff on Pulse that I just don't think sells, because Pulse gets things last and doesn't ever discount anything. So I assume that's probably why this is happening, but yep, it's happening again. So there was an email sent out about this last Sunday. It went up about 15 minutes later than they said it was going to happen on Monday, and it's been going this entire past week, and it's going to be going for another week, pretty much not the entirety of the rest of June, but most of the rest of June. It's going to wrap up at the end of next weekend. Now, the last time that they did this, when like the second week started, so that would be like this upcoming Monday for this sale, they added more stuff to it. So I'm hoping that that's the case, because there are some things like the power weapons, for example, that are not a part of the sale this time, which they were last time, but only when they added additional stuff halfway through. So I'm really fingers crossed on that, because I need those power daggers and I really want those to go on sale during this. So fingers crossed. But what is available is some pretty good amount of stuff for Lightning Collection. You have like the Mighty Morphin Red restock from Wave 3. You have Wave 11 is part of it. Wave 12 is part of it. I think Wave 13 even was part of it as well. So it goes up as far as that. Wave 14 was not. So if it's too new, it's not part of it. But, that can be expected. The Tango Warrior 2-pack is part of it this time, which was not part of it last time. So that's pretty nice. The Cobra Kais are part of it this time. Zap Dragonzord is part of it this time. Zap Astro Megazord is not, so I was kind of hoping to get that. I once again passed on the Draken Helmet. I still need to get that thing, and it's sold out again already, so there's that. But there's a decent amount of stuff on there, but reminder, you have to spend at least $75 to get the percentage anyway. If you're a regular, like I said, you get 30%. If you're a Pulse Premium, you get 35% off, which it depends on what you get. You can kind of get some good deals out of it. If the daggers get added to the sale the next week, I will probably buy some stuff. I have some G.I. Joe things in my cart that I could get for the sale. So it was a decent sale last time. It's an okay sale this time, and there's that. And speaking of sales, the Cobra Kais, they're on sale, but they're also showing up. So we have actually a pretty good amount of Cobra Kai news to talk about this week, starting with what the first wave was. They're leaving. They're on their way out. So the Daniel LaRussos and Samantha LaRussos have been clogging up Targets for the last 2.5-ish months or so, almost 3 months or so, and we knew this was going to happen. Nobody really seems to be excited about these figures for the most part, so everybody was either not going to get them at all or wasn't going to get them until they go on clearance, which is what I was going to do. And they went on clearance. So pretty much every Target, as far as I know, has these for 50% off now, even if they don't have the sticker. So like my Target didn't even have a clearance sticker on this that indicates it being $13.99 instead of $26.99 or whatever, $27.99, whatever it is. But it might be, because I scanned it and it came up as the clearance price and I got it for 50% off, even though there's no sticker about it. So some Targets will be kind of out in the open about it and some will not. So far it's only applying to Daniel and Samantha, because the other ones are too new for it to apply to that. But perfect time for them to be clearancing them out, because the other ones are showing up. So the Skelly Putty, which is part of the first wave, I think was spotted at least like once or twice. At least I could have sworn that it was. That one's been weird, because like it was supposed to come out with Daniel and Samantha, and it did in the UK and stuff like that. And Pulse right now actually has it for later on this month for some reason. And I thought there was a sighting of it at some point at a Target in the United States, but maybe I'm wrong about that, because it's seemingly only showing up like now. There's been boxes that have been seen that have the code name for the Skelly Putty alongside the second wave, the Miguel and the Johnny figures. So all three of those are starting to hit Targets now. which means we just got to hold out until like August or September to where they'll actually be worth buying, in my opinion. Although maybe not the Skeleton Putties, because that is an army builder that I actually kind of like that figure, so that might go a little bit quicker. It might be a little harder to find. I at least need one for sure, but Johnny and Miguel, I'll wait for clearance on them. But if you want to get the Cobra Kai figures for half off, you can do so now, because like I said, even if there's not a sticker on there, there's a good chance that it might be, which is so strange too, because they still haven't shipped the online pre-orders for these, which are also listed still at full price. So I don't know, what a weird subline that it exists and that they're trying to get rid of it as quick as possible, which is like pretty much exactly what I expected them to have to happen with these. But there they are. Now next up for this week, we have a weird situation. So there was actually a comment, I believe it was on the last episode of Lightning Storm, that pointed this out to me, and I did see the comments. So if they're watching this video right now, I apologize that I didn't respond to the comments. So I saw the comments and I started thinking about it, and I was like, I don't think I had heard of that situation, or at least if I had, I didn't notice it. And then somebody tagged me in a picture of their Dino Thunder Black figure, right? And showed me how messed up the shoulder joint was on there. And in that picture, I don't know why it was just that picture of all of them. I think it was because I had just finished my review, or finishing up editing my review of Dino Thunder Black from my channel, that I noticed that the tip of the Brachio staff in that particular picture was not painted. It was just solid gray plastic. And I was like, wait a minute. Mine has gold paint on it. And so I checked, and yeah, mine has gold paint on the tip of it. The promo shots show gold paint on the tip of it. However, not necessarily isolated cases of them don't have that painted. So once I pointed that out on Twitter, a lot of people were like, oh shoot, I didn't even check my Brachio staff. And people have been commenting, yeah, mine doesn't have it painted either. I know my buddy Eric's wasn't painted. There was a couple of other people who pointed it out. So there was one person actually that pointed out that they had gotten like 2 from Amazon. One was painted and one was not. That was actually a really helpful tweak, because first of all, it showed both of them in one picture, which I'm sure I used for the thumbnail and stuff like that today. But also it showed that there wasn't necessarily one specific spot or store that was releasing them one way or the other, because I got mine from Amazon. So I was wondering if like all the Amazon ones were gold tipped and the Pulse ones were not or something, but that doesn't seem to be the case. So, it's just a really weird thing, because like, I guess that's it is a quality control problem, but like, is that a certain batch that went out like that? Am I gonna have to try to track down that one accessory? I would like to now. I want a non-painted tipped Brachio staff, just like I still need a shiny chest Dino Fury green, because I do, in my Lightning Collection completionist mentality, want even like the weird error variants. If it's a weird error variant that is not just like an isolated QC problem, then I think I kind of want it, and this seemingly is not an isolated problem. I've seen at least like 4 or 5 instances of this, so yeah, I don't know, maybe check your Brachio staffs if you didn't think to look at that to see if they are gold tipped like they're supposed to or not, which is just really odd and bizarre. It's one of those things to where like, it definitely shouldn't have happened, but at least it's not the most like noticeable thing, because I mean, many people didn't even notice that it wasn't painted, or if they did notice, they just thought it wasn't, that there was just a paint application that they didn't do, because you know, obviously there's details like the morphers and stuff like that aren't painted, so that's a reason to believe that they just didn't do that application. But no, they did. It's just some people just didn't get it. I don't know. Alright, and the final story for this week here is not Lightning Collection at all, but I do see why I got tagged in it so many different times this week, and so I figured I might as well say it, or say something about it in this video, because why not? So last weekend, there was some festival or convention, something going on with toy company Valverse, which I think I've heard of before. I don't really know in what context, but I think I've heard that name before. But they showed off that they got the license to do figures based off of the upcoming film Legend of the White Dragon, which, as you might know, is the crowdfunded film that is the final project and kind of a little passion project of JDF before his passing. It's a very Power Rangers-esque film. It has Power Rangers actors and stuff in it, but it is by absolutely no means an official thing. It's not a canon thing. It's not a Hasbro thing. They completely ignore it and don't endorse it in any way. But JDF was really passionate about this. There was figures of White Dragon stuff before at Power Morphicon, actually, kind of like reaction kind of type figures, like the 3.75 inch ones. But Valverse actually got the rights to do like 6-inch scaled ones, like very Lightning Collection-esque figures. And so they're going to be doing a 2-pack of the White Dragon, and I think it's this, is it the Black Dragon, or it's another. evil version, the villain of the film, essentially, a 2-pack here. And this actually looks pretty cool, actually. I think the head sculpts look pretty neat. I think the designs of these suits are kind of cool, and I am intrigued by this film just because of how much passion and, you know, things that JDF kept talking about with this. I do want to see it. But it's obviously not Lightning Collection. It's not even Power Rangers, technically. I mean, it's not officially, you know. People kept tagging me. I got so many tags of it last weekend when it got announced, and I just didn't comment on it because I just didn't really have much to say on it, but I figured might as well mention it here because maybe it's something I'll pick up. If you guys want to see me pick it up and do like a video on it to compare it with Lightning Collection stuff, compare it with like other JDF head sculpts, maybe try to use this one head sculpt like on a Lightning Collection figure. If you guys want to see any of that kind of thing, please let me know down in the comments below because I would pick it up if people have an interest, but I also probably wouldn't pick it up if people don't want to see me cover it. So let me know, and let me know if you're going to get this for your collection. Alright, and that brings us to a little lightning strike of the week here to wrap things up. So, nothing too crazy here today, but it's already kind of something I showed off in the past before, in a way. I showed off that one picture that somebody had recreated, the no one gets inside this circle, once we finally completed Dino Thunder and SPD recently, which was great. I'm really, really happy somebody finally did that in a picture form. But Julio decided to do it in a video form. So we finally have a little video kind of painting around in the circle, the whole group shot of all 11 Rangers. Is it 11? Yeah, all 11 Rangers. No, it's not. It's 12. Because there's 7 SPD Rangers. All 12. All 12 of the Rangers in a big circle there with the whole no one gets inside.
No one gets inside our circle!
No one gets inside!
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 No one gets
No one
inside!
gets inside!
No one gets
No one
inside!
gets inside!
No one gets inside!
You got it, Commander!
I love it. I love that we can do that in Lightning Collection here now. I'll say the same thing I said last time. I would love to get some blue heads, orange heads, Crybots, any kind of actual villains, Tyrannodrones, for these guys to fight. Because right now, they can form their circle, and nobody can get inside of it. But there's nobody trying to. So I would like to see some kind of villains for these teams to fight now that we have them complete. But I love that we can do this and recreate these iconic moments. It's like the exact kind of thing that I love that Lightning Collection can do. And even though it literally takes years for us to pull things off like this, it's really cool when we can finally do so. And with that is going to do it for this week's episode of Lightning Storm. So of course, as always, I'd love to know your guys' thoughts down in the comments below about anything that I talked about. And of course, you guys can follow me on Twitter at LivingRangerKey or LightningFigPR. And I'll see you all on Lightning Storm. The series where lightning always strikes twice. To wrap up this video, I'd like to thank my $5 and above patrons: Jurassic Samurai, Maggot Alchemist, Robert Browning, Static Thunder, Brendan Overland, Maji Yellow, MCPC Studios, Comics 1017, James Darty, John Luke, Eric Berry, Tyler Bezetsky, Matthew Thorne, Josh Landry, Pyramidas, CPT Tesla, Cross SCV, Caboose Ed, Socket Monsters, Anthony Love, Daniel Pika, Hella Geo, Thrasher, Jesus Prime, Uni Warrior Thomas, and Lewis Carnes. You can support Toku Topics for as little as $1 a month on my Patreon, linked in the description below.